In 1926, Ernest Holmes was talking about what scientists today are beginning to call the new unconscious mind. Ernest Holmes told us that in order to understand our behavior, we needed to understand what's going on in our unconscious mind. In 1926, even before that, in 1919, he wrote a little book called The Creative Mind and Success, in which he talked about the unconscious mind. In our teaching, we teach about spirit, soul, and body. Spirit, God, gives rise to a thought, and the thought goes into the soul, and the soul, or the creative medium, or the law, makes it happen. In other words, it is the creative medium that takes the thought of God and makes it manifest. And Ernest Holmes teaches us that that is the microcosm of the universe. At the microcosm level, God is speaks and the soul creates. And it creates what we call the universe, the physical body. Everything that we see and everything that we don't see in this physical life. And our lives, our minds, are a microcosm of that macrocosm. We think, and it goes into our subconscious mind or our unconscious mind. And it stays there until something triggers it. And then it manifests. Sometimes it's something we want and we like. And sometimes it's like, what on earth? Where did that come from? Why did I do that? And the reason is there's something in your subconscious mind that caused you to do whatever it was that you did. For a long time, every time we'd go into a restaurant, we'd start to sit down, and then I would realize, no, I can't. I need to sit with my back to the room. I was uncomfortable if I sat facing the room. And I didn't understand why I was uncomfortable like that. When I see my son doing the same thing, only his is just the opposite. He likes to sit facing the room. And so it's an interesting little dance that we do when we go to a restaurant to see who's going to sit where. And Rod doesn't like to sit where he has to face the light because he can't, everything is in silhouette. So here we are, the three of us, we're going into a restaurant and we're juggling chairs to see who's going to sit where and who's going to be uncomfortable. And for a long time I didn't question, I just knew I had to sit with my back to the room. And one day I thought, what is this? And as I began to think about it, I began to realize that a person that I used to know, whenever we would go to a restaurant, he refused to sit with his back to the room. He had a personal reason for it, but I always had to sit with my back to the room, so he could face the room, because he liked to see who's coming into the restaurant. And when I realized that, I felt, okay. I was okay. I mean, I still don't like to sit facing the room, but now at least I know why. So the next step is to sit facing the room, to get over this little quirk. But this is the way your subconscious works. It will take something as silly as where you're going to sit in a restaurant and make it a habit or an uncomfortable experience for you. Most of the time, our behavior is on automatic pilot. And that's our subconscious. It's running our lives on automatic pilot. We don't have to tell it what we need to do about a lot of things. Like, I don't have to tell it, now I'm going to lift my foot and let's walk. I don't have to tell it that. It just does that. It tells my body to do that. But sometimes it does the rest of our lives like that too. And that's what we call living unconsciously. We are not aware I bet any one of you, if you stop to think about a little quirk that you have in your personality, if you stop to think about it, you begin to wonder, well, how did I get that? Where did it come from? And you started thinking back over your life, you would begin to unearth where that little quirk in your personality came from. That's what we call, in our teaching, unearthing your hidden beliefs. Finding out why it is, what is the reason that you do the things you do, or say the things you say, or like the people you like. Every part of our lives are directed by our subconscious, whether we realize it or not. If we realize it, it wouldn't be subconscious, would it? Even the friends that we pick our friends subconsciously. For somehow, something about our friends relate to us, and this is how we pick them. A life that is successful. It is imperative that you start examining your life and begin to understand what's holding you back from being the success that you want to be. But if there's something that's holding you back and you don't take the time and the energy to dive into it and to figure it out why you aren't doing what you want to do, why you're not living the way you want to live, having the friends that you want to have, whatever it is that you're wanting that you're not having, you need to take the time to uncover the hidden beliefs in your subconscious mind. Spend some time digging them out and figuring it out what it is, because we are creating our lives experience by experience. Everything we do, be, or say is going into our subconscious mind, and it's creating an experience of either the life that we want or the life that we don't want. Our minds and our brains are creating our lives, and every experience we have is creating a new layer in our brain. And our brains and our minds work together to cause us to have the habits that we have. And success is a habit. It is a habit that a lot of us have not cultivated because we think it only happens to other people, the select few. But that is not the truth. The truth is you were born to be a successful person. However, again, you define that word success. So how do you program your mind for success? First of all, be aware. Be aware that your actions might be coming from your unconscious mind. Be aware of why you need to sit with your back to a room when you're in a restaurant. Be aware of why when you walk down the sidewalk, you will very carefully avoid the cracks in the sidewalk. Remember that old thing? Step on a crack, break your mother's back. Be aware of why you don't step on those cracks when you're walking down the sidewalk. It's a funny little saying, but how many of us have taken it to heart, and we're walking on a sidewalk, we're very careful about how we walk. So you want to be aware of what your actions are and why they are. Be aware that you are imprinting your mind with everything that you do. And also be aware that you can change how you act. You can change the program of your mind. You can change. So many of us think, there's no way, I'm too old, or I'm too young, or whatever excuse you give for not changing your behavior. You can change it. But it has to be a conscious act. Be careful of your thoughts, your words, what you listen to, what you watch. Everything affects you positively or negatively. So be aware of all of your actions So because you know that when you're watching something that's negative, that is going into your subconscious mind, and it's going to affect how you are in your life. So be careful of the words that you speak. So many of us, you're going to be listening to me, and you're going to be very carefully and nodding your head. Yeah. And you're going to walk out into the social hall, and the first thing you're going to start talking about is, oh no, did you hear about what happened to me? Did you? And you're going to start listing all the negative things that happened to you this week. You know what? It's okay to share, but get over it. If you are constantly listing all the all the negative things that go on in your life, all you're doing is telling the universe, this is the way my life is, and there's no way it's ever going to get better. Because that's all you're looking at. You don't give your subconscious mind any food to get better. So be careful, not just in your thoughts, but your words and where you speak them. Be proactive. Choose to live consciously. Don't just let life happen to you. Think, oh, well, this is just life. This is just the way it is. No, that's not the way it is. That may be the way it is right this moment, but that's not the way it has to be. So be proactive. Choose to live consciously. Choose to be proactive in your life. Don't wait for Santa Claus to bring you that 5-carat diamond ring that you've wanted all your life. Go get it yourself. Don't wait for life to happen to you. Be a partner with the divine and live proactively in your life. Choose consciously. Choose your words, your thoughts, how you spend your time. Choose what you want your life to look like. Choose consciously and choose wisely. You can choose wisely when you stop long enough stop your talking long enough and start listening to your inner guide. And your inner guide will tell you what you need to do to have the kind of life that you want to live. So choose consciously and choose wisely. So how do you program your life, your mind for success? First of all, you need to be aware that you can, and to be aware that every experience that you have goes into your subconscious mind, and it just sort of, it's like a storage house, and it's waiting. And it will come back at some point. And it will affect you in some way. It will either affect your body with a disease, or it will affect your relationships, or your job, how you are. It will affect you in some way, because every experience is being stored in your subconscious mind. And be careful of your words, your thoughts, your actions. Be proactive in your life. Don't just sit and wait for life to happen to you. And know with every cell in your body that you have the power. You have the power that Jesus used when he rose Lazarus from the dead. You have the power to create your own universe. You have the same power that God used to create this universe. You have that same power within you, and all you have to do is to learn how to access it and how to use it. So know you have that power, and then use it. Choose consciously and choose wisely, and know you have the power.